What if some of the users that you interact with in comment sections or social media sites are not human? There's a theory dubbed the dead internet theory that takes things further. Broadly, it states that most of the activity on the internet is in fact the work of bots. Have we witnessed the death of the internet and not even noticed?
If you're a little bit older, you remember the nascence of the internet, the inceptus of the whole thing, and I'd like to ask you, if that's the case, doesn't it seem stale to you today vis-a-vis back then? Haven't you noticed that the information one can retrieve, it seems stale, without as much variety? Well, I stumbled across the dead internet theory the other day, and it seems I don't know, it seems kind of plausible to me. So let me read here. The dead internet theory is a conspiracy theory that suggests the majority of online content is fabricated or controlled by a limited number of entities, resulting in a dead or manipulated internet experience. This theory posits that user-generated content is rare, and the internet is largely a simulation or illusion controlled by powerful organizations or governments. Now, right there, they're calling it a conspiracy theory, and whenever they start calling anything a conspiracy theory, I'm a little more inclined to take it seriously and do a little more research, which I did. Proponents of this theory argue that most online content is created by a small group of individuals or bots. Search engines and social media platforms use algorithms to control and manipulate what users see. User privacy is heavily invaded, limiting free expression and genuine online interactions, and that the internet is a tool for mass surveillance and mind control. Well, they didn't say anything I'd agree with or disagree with. Lord, go to Google and try to do a search of anything meaningful and look what pops up. Anything that has to do with current events or anything like that, science, and all you're going to see are these corporate media websites, ABC, NBC. You won't see any of the independent stuff. You go to a search engine like Yandex or Luxel, and you'll get all kinds of stuff that Google just won't show you. I use Google for unimportant things, trivial, insignificant questions, but anything meaningful, I use Yandex. But anyway, I can't think of anything with which I disagree in that little blurb there. So let's continue.
Of us, ladies and gentlemen, to give you one quick idea about the internet as a whole, the actual amount of traffic that exists is pretty much actually proven by science that it is more bot traffic than actual human traffic that exists on the internet. So you might have read this report about bots are taking over the internet, and effectively you might have heard the actual idea that nearly half of all of the internet traffic in 2023 came from bots, and that number steadily increases year after year. So one of the reports from this group known as Imperva, which is again in the cybersecurity field, they analyzed the activity from 3 sources. One is a bad bot, one is a good bot, and one is human traffic. So obviously, human traffic, thankfully, was at least 52.6%. But that meant 30.2% and 17.3% respectively belong to, bad bots and good bots. Unfortunately, the bad bots were a little higher than the good bots. In fact, not a little, but, well, substantially higher. So they said that out of all internet traffic in 2022, 47.4% was automated traffic, also commonly referred to as bot, compared to 42.3% in 2021. What they also said was the percentage of human traffic continued a downward trend. So in 2021, they were 57.7% of all the traffic was actually human generated. and that number went down to 52.6% in 2022.
Now, let's take a look at the core idea of the whole thing. The theory posits that bots create most of what we see online, from social media posts to comments and likes, with the intent to manipulate public opinion, boost engagement metrics, or generate advertising revenue. This manipulation is supposedly orchestrated by various entities, including government agencies or corporations, to control or influence consumers or the general population. Proponents often cite the increase in bot traffic, the prevalence of AI-generated content, and the repetitive nature of internet content as evidence. However, while there is quantifiable data on bot traffic, the full theory lacks comprehensive scholarly support. So we've got to go and ask a scholar to tell us what our eyes clearly see. For instance, on X, I have a little over 25,000 followers, and yet usually I don't get more than 100 impressions on any posts I make. Whereas some people who have only 2,000 or 3,000 followers will get, thousands and thousands of impressions, retweets, likes. And after having read this, I'm starting to be suspicious that accounts like that aren't genuine. They're bots that are being liked and shared by other bots to promote what's being propounded and to make it appear as if it's more popular than it really is. You know, maybe these people who have millions of followers, guys like Cat Turd or Cernovich, maybe they have all those followers because the algorithm is placing them in front of people more than others. And because of that, they pick up follows. And if that's the case, who's controlling the algorithm?
30.2 of these bots are maliciously coded to DDoS, argue, and attack people with whatever scripts they're programmed with. Some bots are even designed to leave positive reviews for third-party scammers on Amazon.
On platforms like X, discussions around this theory often reflect a sense of disillusionment with the internet's evolution, where users express feelings of being surrounded by AI rather than human interlocutors. There's a growing sentiment that the internet feels dead or less authentic due to the perceived dominance of automated content. And as I said initially, if you were around when the internet first began, I don't see how you could say otherwise. If taken to its extreme, the theory suggests a future where human-to-human online interaction becomes increasingly rare, potentially leading to a scenario where AI content is consumed by other AI, creating a feedback loop detached from human reality. And that goes back to the illustration I just made about the AI post being liked and shared by other AIs. Critics argue that while there is indeed a significant presence of bot and AI content, the internet is still largely driven by human interaction, and I can get behind that. I can dig that. The theory might exaggerate the situation, but does highlight real concerns about the quality and authenticity of online content, especially with the advent of more advanced AI technologies.
You will find him and other people, they talk to each other. Oh, this account, we went through this one. This account, this guy, this is not a real account, okay? This guy tweets at me. Oh, look, and you can see on the pictures, look, they do the thing where they'll post the same picture over and over again. So we can click through. Oh, he talks to Jeffrey again. Oh wait, are all of his replies to Jeffrey? They might all be, all of his replies might be to Jeffrey. Oh, this A. O'Connell guy or whatever? Holy banger, Jeff. Thank you, Albert. By far and away, my biggest tweet. This is not a real person.
Cambridge Analytica infamously utilized unauthorized personal information to build a system that profiled individual U.S. voters for targeted political advertisements. Now, does anyone doubt that that's being done? How could anyone doubt that? Haven't you noticed the ads that pop up in your feed? This is a propaganda machine. It's targeting people individually to recruit them to an idea, said Professor Jonathan Albright. Albright, an assistant professor and data scientist at Elon University, started digging into fake news sites after Donald Trump was elected president. Through extensive research and interviews with Albright and other key experts in the field, it became clear to Scout that this phenomenon was about much more than just a few fake news stories. It was a piece of much bigger, darker puzzle, a weaponized AI propaganda machine being used to manipulate our opinions and behavior to advance specific political agendas. Now, from the way this was written, the tone would indicate that this guy is a leftist who decided that Donald Trump was elected by AI-controlled internet bots. When if you're on the outside looking in, any idiot can see that the left wing is the one being propped up the most. And you know, there's no shortage of information. Your phone's listening to you all the time. People used to say that I was crazy and a conspiracy theorist when I said that the phone was listening to what you were saying and using that to put certain ads in your feed, advertising content. One time, my wife and I were eager to watch the last season of a certain series, and we were talking about it in the car with our phones on. We found it at a video store, went in, bought it, came back out, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, ads revolving around that series started to pop up, and one of the ads spoiled it for us. It spoiled it and told us everything that happened in advance. That's not an accident, folks. And now just about everyone agrees that's being done. And now with AI and deep fake technology, how are we going to know that a lot of the so-called news stories that we see put out are actually genuine? Everything you see from this point on the internet needs to be taken with a great deal of circumspection. I don't see any other way. But it won't happen, though. People are stupid, and they're like lemmings, and they'll just go with the majority. You know, even if the majority's wrong, they'll jump right off a cliff because everybody else does it, and they'll believe whatever everybody else tells them they have to believe.
During my research during all of this, I noticed 3 major paths. There are 3 very distinct rabbit holes that this theory tends to lead people down. All 3 very different from the last. 1, these bots are mostly malicious and governed by foreign countries to divide people. 2, these bots are operated by our own government to distract, divide, manipulate, or sway people to vote one way or the other. 3, these bots are all curated by an algorithm that is designed by giant corporations to manipulate the masses into buying products they don't need, or to get people to interact on their social media platforms to boost engagement. But, if you ask me, I choose option D. It's all the above.